Imran Khan here for Seconds Out with Wally Downs Jr., Sun Boxing reporter. Wally, great to see you after the weigh-in. Anti-Joshua, Francis Ngannou have weighed in. What do you make of the weights of the two? Thought that maybe Francis Ngannou might be the bigger man, but Anti-Joshua seemed to have a little bit of height on him. Maybe he's wearing the big boots at that point, a bit of mind games last minute there, but what do you make of the scene?
Yeah, both look. They are genetic freaks, the pair of them. Sensational shape, both. What did AJ stick on? Just a pound?
Haven't seen the weights myself, Wally, but I've been video recording and all that sort of stuff, good stuff, so I've missed it myself.
I think he put on a pound. I think Ngannou shaved off just 2, so not massively different from what they did in December and October. Ngannou's legs, though, man, they're like a human torso at the weigh-in, at the workout. But Paul Smith was standing just behind us, and he said something that was very clever, and that was that with all that mass and muscle, if you don't really know how to use it and to turn it into punching power, then it's wasted. You know, who would you back in a fight between Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime and George Groves? Who would you, Eamon? Tell me.
George Groves.
Yeah. So all that muscle. Don't get me wrong. I know he's an MMA fighter. I know he grew up idolising Mike Tyson. I know he took Tyson Fury the distance and dropped him. But yeah, and I know that the MMA stoppages were great. The uppercut on Alistair Overeem, who was just behind us, were all sensational. But I can't get away from the idea that AJ's been doing this at the highest level since he was 18. And that Francis is a magnificent story. Yeah, and I think AJ will be all right. I was more concerned about the Wallin fight than I am this one. AJ, even going back to Andy Ruiz, going back to Usyk, going back to Franklin, he doesn't like fighting little dudes because to be a successful little heavyweight, you've got to be extremely talented. Even Takam, I know he was a late replacement, he made it awkward and it was long, and I think that was the heaviest he ever come in. He took his eye off the ball. Yeah, he doesn't like fighting little dudes. So, they can tuck up. You lose power punching down. As silly as it sounds, I think fighting a 6'6" geezer who won't have the best movement in the world and won't tuck up will be good for AJ. Look at the Hellenius knockout. Fighting a massive bloke, I think helps him. Yeah, I'm bizarrely confident that AJ will get this done, and maybe he won't knock him spark out. And Ngannou's resilience and his size of his head is like a bowling ball in his neck. But maybe he gets back to throwing those crisp 1, 2, 3 combinations, and Ngannou backs up, and maybe the ref comes in. I don't know. Yeah, but I'm confident in AJ, and we had a great interview with him last night, Thursday night. Some of the best stuff he said for a long time, talking about his own mental state after the Usyk stuff, how he'd never like his little boy to get into boxing. Really good stuff if you're looking for a newspaper on Friday morning. So yeah, I'm really confident in him, and I think the Ben Davison thing has worked really well. I think the fact that he's had to sit in a room with Tyson and Ngannou is testing. He said he didn't like it. He said if it was given a choice, he wouldn't have done it, but it's obviously part of the deal and part of the makeup here. So the fact that he's done that, handled it, I think he's I'm confident. I'm confident that he can keep carrying the sport in a way that he's been doing for 12 years.
With the common opponent between Anti-Joshua and Tyson Fury, which is a fight that we seem to be gearing up to maybe in the future, past the undisputed bouts, if, of course, Tyson Fury gets through it against Alexander Usyk in the first and in the rematch. Of the common opponents, I believe the statistic is, I saw it online myself, Anti-Joshua has either stopped or knocked out every common opponent they have between them. And I wondered, if he does the same thing against Francis Ngannou, will that add fuel to the fire right now of boxing fans who are arguing that Tyson Fury is on the decline after that Francis Ngannou performance?
Does AJ have to better Tyson's performance? Is that the question?
In that sense, yeah, but will it shift the perspective further towards the argument that Tyson Fury is on the decline?
Shift the perspective further? Fuck me, man. Get you a job at a broadsheet, son. Listen, I don't think Tyson Fury prepared properly for the Ngannou fight. He was 2 stone over, 8 weeks out. I think he thought it would be easy. So I don't give too much credibility to the way that the fight went. Not to say that Francis wasn't incredible and it was great, but I think the way Tyson came into the ring, the way he approached the fight, the way that he probably got clipped, felt his power, and more or less got on his bike for the last couple of rounds. So AJ will do the opposite of that. I think he said he's essentially had 10 days off from the Wally camp. Finished on December 23, went to Dubai, saw a lovely picture of him in the pool on December 26, and I reckon he was more or less back in camp the next day. So he's done the opposite of what Tyson's done, and he's seen the blueprint. He's got 10 rounds of Francis boxing, which Ben Davison and the very secretive genius Lee Wily behind him can go through all that footage and show AJ, break it down into small segments, because we're always told that he's a real student of the game, and I think there's been periods where he's tried to be that too much and gone too deep and had trainers or certainly sort of advisors that are trying to reinvent the wheel with him. But if by the sounds of it, Lee and Ben are showing him short, sharp, great clips of what Ngannou does and what he should do, and I don't think it shows that Fury's on the decline. You can't do what he's done and then suddenly, you can age overnight. But I think the Fury that boxed Ngannou was probably the worst Tyson we've seen for a long old time. John McDermott won maybe. So yeah, I think AJ wants to do a better job, and I think he's got all the tools and the situation to set him up to do a better job.
Being mindful of the time, I want to shift to the headline news as the last topic of discussion, that being this announced exhibition or fight, or what it is, between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. I'm not too sure myself what to make of that. I think maybe the sense of this route of Jake Paul fighting legitimate boxers, as it were, is maybe not bringing in the eyes needed, and now they've gone with the route of going back to the sort of celebrity sort of style boxing. But Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, it's going to do big numbers, but I wonder what a boxing man such as yourself thinks of that fight.
I think it's an absolute disgrace. I think it's laughable, and I think anyone who's involved in making the fight should hang their head in shame. And it's a shame because when all of us British boxing reporters interview Jake Paul, he's intelligent, he's measured. He talks about doing great things like promoting female fights with Amanda Serrano, which he has done, like helping UFC fighters get better pay. But when he tells you he's going to be a world champion and he's going to beat Canelo, you don't fight the geezer he fought the other week in Puerto Rico and knock him out in a minute, and you don't fight a 57-year-old geezer, a legend who needs to be enjoying the rest of his life away from it. It's just sad. It's a shame, and so, something as powerful as Netflix, as big and respected as Netflix, should be a million miles away from this. And I get it's a huge coup getting Jake Paul, and hopefully it is as choreographed as a lot of the other fights. This guy can't keep telling people that he's a bona fide boxer when all he does is beat up welterweights from the MMA world and basketball half his size, and now picks on a 57-year-old man. Because the only time he's been in a real fight to Tommy Fury, he lost. And Tommy Fury again is a novice who's tried hard, and I'm really and you'll see the people in boxing that back this. Because they'll get paid to back it, or because they want to keep certain people happy. And it happened with Misfits. And then when Misfits turned to rubbish because the performances were bad and the antics were too distasteful, those people went quiet. Because those people were saying Misfits is the best thing to happen. We've got to learn from Misfits. So, let's watch those guys and see what they say about Tyson Jake Paul. Because that Tyson 4 years ago, when he danced around with Roy Jones Jr., was shuffling around. And he doesn't do many interviews now, but we know he loves cannabis. It's a part of his job. He's stoned all the time with Ric Flair, having the time of his life, which he's deserved. This is a man who's battled some serious health and mental health problems and addiction problems. It's just, and I get this is a crossover, AJ and Ngannou, but these are two prime athletes. it's just such a shame, and it's terrible that it's happened on the same night because it has grabbed a lot of the attention. You know, I've got my newspaper ringing me up going, "Oh, can you write about this?" I'd rather give 15 more paragraphs to Joseph Parker's brilliant story, getting home to his wife, or Mark Chamberlain going from Portsmouth to Riyadh, or Gavin Glynn getting here from Merthyr Tydfil. It's grubby, it's rubbish. They reckon 80,000 people can get in the stadium. There's a refund clause in that because it's wrong, really wrong.
Wally, good place to leave it. Well said, much appreciated. Thanks for speaking to Seconds Out.
Got any clout?
I have got
What's your
none,
What's your
Wally.
nickname?
It's not stuck just yet. Nickname is Ames. Take Ames by Twitter as well too. Wally for the Sun. Thanks for speaking to Seconds Out. Appreciate it.